When I first started doing this show 6 years ago, I said I was going to deal with issues, educate people, and give common sense. That's what I said in my head years ago. Back when I had long hair. Now that the show's 6 years old, I am still dedicated to giving you guys issues and give you guys common sense while educating parents, kids, and most importantly, the educators. That's the case in this news clip you're about to see. Back in 4 years ago, you may have heard about an incident that happened in Snellville where the parents' daughter, they forgot their daughter, their baby. We'll play the video in just a minute. So, you can almost imagine being in there about what happened. You'll meet the parents and hear their side of the story. What does the school have to say about this? Here's Adam Murphy.
You have seen the video. It has gone viral. Well over 2 million views.
On 1380 WAOK radio, Nina Young and Tristan DeJean went public about a terrifying incident involving their 5-year-old daughter at Norton Elementary School in Snellville.
It is a video of parents going to a school and claiming this school lost their child 3 times.
They broke their silence on Real Talk with Dr. Rashad Ritchie Monday.
This is the 3rd time y'all lost her. And my son called me from the bus crying, wondering where his damn sister is.
After this video of them confronting school officials last month went viral.
They're looking at it as an issue of she just missed the bus. And we were trying to get them to understand, if you have to go find a child, she was lost. If you did not account for that child, she was lost.
DeJean said the school lost track of his daughter and failed to place her on the school bus at the end of the day.
Until my child makes it home through my door, you're responsible for my child.
The principal later sent out a notice to parents stating that they made a mistake and they have reviewed their dismissal procedures so it never happens again.
If you have adults throughout the entire school, as they say, then where were they? And how was a 5-year-old little girl whose first year in school unaccounted for?
But DeJean isn't convinced the problem has been solved. He said the school has lost his child not once, but 3 times. And other parents have informed him the same thing happened to them.
My daughter wasn't the first, but she can be the last. All we need them to do is just come together and let's put a plan in place. Something in place to keep these kids safe so parents don't have to worry.
Now, the parents said a school resource officer told them they would no longer be allowed here on the campus after that recorded outburst that included some foul language as well. But when I reached out to school officials, they said that's just not the case. The family is allowed here on the property. Now, Tristan and Nina will hash this out at the school board meeting this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. We're live in Gwinnett County. Adam Murphy, CBS 46 News.
Like I said, we'll play the video in just a minute. But there is common sense being put out here for all the educators. So, common sense alert.
Their premium version really takes things to the next level with
How can you ban people? I mean, like the guy said, come together, work on a plan. That way it doesn't happen again. That's what you need to do. If you make a mistake, listen, we are all human. We make mistakes. If you make a mistake, you can look back at this and say, let's look back at this mistake and figure out what we did wrong so that we won't do it again. In this case right here, the video you're about to see in just a minute, they made a mistake by forgetting the child. Bus drivers need to be trained on how to look for missing children. I mean, they got clipboards. I mean, what they need to do is have clipboards on them at all times. That way they can know who's on the bus and who's not. If that was a good idea, then all right. Now, being banned from campus after that video, I mean, who's telling the side head, the school resource officer or the district? I mean, the thing you have to understand here is, I mean, this is all caught on tape, yes, for millions of views. I mean, hash this out at the next school board meeting. I'd imagine the board would look at this and go, we know you guys were a rival. So you're coming up first. I mean, this is big times. And I'll tell you, if my nephew or niece, if my brother-in-law, my brother and sister-in-law forget their child, my nephew, I'd be furious. I'd march down there and find out what the hell's going on. Why are you missing him 3 times? But send out a notice. I mean, people say we won't do it again, but clearly you know it's going to happen again. You just don't know it. When you say we won't do it again, you obviously going to know it's going to happen again. Now, when we come back, I'm going to play you the full video of what happened. So that way y'all can see it for yourself and get what you think. I played the audio clip of this years ago, a season or 2 ago. Now I'm playing it to you so that way y'all can see it here live. So we'll be right back. Stay with us. Okay, now that we've heard from Brian Murphy, let's watch the whole video from a common sense perspective. Because, really, if that was my child, I'd be furious too.
For themselves.
No. Can I explain to you, sir? Can I just talk to you, explain to you? What we do is, they have a big screen in their room, and when their bus comes up, we have adults all through the hallway here that
So
help.
if y'all got adults all through the hallway, how did that happen for the 3rd time?
Okay.
Not the first. The first time I was calm. I was understanding because I understood it could happen. The second time, I was mad, but I let it go. The 3rd time, my son called me from the bus, crying,
yelling,
screaming, talking about he don't know where his sister is.
Right.
I'm supposed to be at work, which is an hour away from where we live here in Snellville. Now imagine if I went to work. My 5-year-old daughter would be here.
stuck.
Miss Curry left early today. We did have the parapro in the room. I don't know what happened, but I can try to get Miss Fields, and we can try to figure out what happened.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
My son told them to stop, but he said, don't pull off. I cannot leave without my sister. And they told him to leave anyway. My son was on the bus screaming and crying, and y'all still told the bus to pull off. Whoever it was. That was a teacher told him to pull off.
That's
They
transportation.
should have let my son get off the bus and
Right,
find his
and I
sister,
agree with
because
that.
that's what we told him to do.
I agree with
They
that.
didn't allow him to get off the bus.
That's transportation. That's a separate.
It was a teacher that told him.
Y'all allow these buses to come pick these kids up, therefore you're responsible.
No, sir. When
You're
they
responsible
get on the bus,
when
they
no,
decide if they can
no.
keep them or
I
not.
release my child to get on your bus to come to your school. Until my child makes it home through my door, you're responsible for my child, not me.
No.
You are. Until my child reaches back
I'm gonna
down,
let you handle it 'cause I
until my
can't
child
talk
reaches
about
back
it.
down where I live, you're responsible for my child getting home. No, I don't care. Y'all didn't care nothing about my kid when she was missing for 3 times. This is the 3rd time. And you want to talk to me about somebody else's kid and you ain't care about mine? Don't ask me to be calm. Don't patronize me. Don't chastise me. Don't do it. And you doing it now. So stop. Because it's the 3rd time. I don't care about nobody else's kid out there. And you know what? They need to hear this so they understand what y'all trying to cover up. That y'all losing people's kids.
What's going on?
What you can hear what's going on. You want to know what's going on? Step your ass in here.
Sorry.
That's what you can do. Step in here. The 3rd time that my daughter has been lost. Do you want to talk? Because we can talk. Step in.
Let's go back in.
No, we're not going nowhere. We're going to stand right here.
Let me write something down what you want to share with us.
It ain't nothing for you to write down. What you want to write down? What you want to write down?
This is the first.
But this is my 3rd time though. Understand that as a father. This is my 3rd time that y'all have lost my 5-year-old daughter, my baby. This is the 3rd time y'all lost her.
And
me from the bus crying, wondering where his damn sister is. This the third time.
And it's crazy that none of y'all heard about this.
Right.
This has happened
And
3
the
times.
second time, y'all tell me that if we don't come get her by 4 o'clock, y'all ain't responsible for it.
That's what the lady who sits right there said to me. She said that there's a teacher's party at 4 o'clock. And so after 4 o'clock, she's not responsible for my child because she has to go to a teacher's party.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, and I'm going to apologize for that. I was off campus yesterday. That's why.
He said that he was on the bus just a minute ago. He was screaming and crying and telling the bus driver, don't pull off. I need to get off the bus because I'm not allowed to leave without my sister. That's what we told him. Okay. Don't leave without my sister. And whoever was out there directing the buses told him to pull off anyway and don't let my son off the bus. Now, he's screaming and crying because he know that he's not supposed to be without his sister because this is the third time that this has happened. So for us to watch our own back.
I want to make sure everybody sees and understands.
For us to watch our own back, we told my son, stay with her. Because obviously, don't nobody in this goddamn office care about her, or she's not your responsibility after 4 o'clock, right? So after that, I said, don't leave without my daughter. So he did what he was supposed to do. But somebody told the bus to go.
You're right.
We'll make sure everybody.
And we work an hour away from here, so there's no way we can make it to this school on time. This is the third time. The third time. What are we supposed to do?
I don't even trust y'all no more. That's terrible.
The last time, the last time,
worry every day if my daughter's gonna make it on the damn bus.
the last time she was in a hallway sleep. They just missed over her. In the hallway sleep with a line full of kids, but they missed her. The first time she was wandering around the hallways on the side where the parents pick her up, and she never been on that side of the hallway. So who is watching our child?
Nobody. Ain't nobody watching these goddamn.
They shouldn't have to come to school and be scared. She comes to school and be scared.
As I said earlier, sir, ma'am, I know you may not want to hear this, but this is the first I'm hearing. What I want to do is write down your concern.
Can we write down all 3 then? Yes. Because she was here the second time, and if y'all don't know about it, that means nobody knew about it. She didn't say nothing to nobody.
That's what I want to do. Like I
These
said,
young people in here doing their own thing.
And they trying to cover their own stuff up. They covering their own stuff up because y'all supposed to know about every single thing that happened to every single one of these kids in here.
You can't expect no parent, especially in my predicament, to come in here and be understanding after this shit done happened 3 times. I was nice to
Now, what if the next time she done got in somebody's car? What if the next time she done got on the wrong bus and nobody know where she is?
But one time is too many. I agree with you, Dad. I agree with you. One time is too many. As a parent, I understand that completely. Let me give you an opportunity to write it down, or I can write it down, whatever you prefer. Okay, write that down. That includes all the names.
I want everything.
Everything in
I
there.
want everybody. Yeah. I want everybody. Everybody.
Now, like I said earlier, after that video was posted and was reported in the news, the school resources they weren't allowed. The school district says that they're allowed to come back. So who's telling the truth here? Where's the common sense perspective? Well, common sense tells you common sense needs to tell you you never use profanity on school property. You never do. Inappropriate, let me tell you this. I've said this every day at work, and I'm saying this every day right now. Inappropriate language is not allowed in any school by any person, student, staff, or parents. Unacceptable. Same thing with work. Inappropriate language is not allowed in any workplace by any person, employee or staff. Employee, staff, or manager. Unacceptable. Very unacceptable. So I am glad. I mean, how could the situation be handled calmly? Well, they could have wrote a letter to the school saying, tell us what's going on. They could have scheduled a meeting saying, hey, Can we schedule a meeting to discuss this? If that would have happened, it would have went all the way to the superintendent and said, hey, we got a problem with my child here missing 3 times. Can we have a meeting to talk about this? Or come up with a plan? If they would sit down together, come up with a plan and say, hey, let's look at this incident, sit down, come up with a plan, and make sure it doesn't happen again. Now that phrase I always hear a lot. I hear these phrases all the time. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. It won't happen again. I'll never do it again. Sorry's a little late. Whenever people say we won't do it again with these phrases, you know it's going to happen again. We need to train not only staff members, we need to train people. We got to train transportation and school staff members who are directing the bus. Because if we don't, if you don't do this, that same is going to happen again. What if they got on the wrong bus? What if someone got in a car by a stranger? Because if that happened to my nephew, I wouldn't be here. And I heard about this, I never would be here. I never would be talking about this. It never would happen. I'm glad. Okay. The 7 dumbest reasons why kids get suspended or got suspended from school, including haircut. I'm going to show you that clip along with the 7 reasons why kids get suspended. It's dumb reasons why kids get suspended when we return. Please stay with us. Almost 13 years ago, this kid got this haircut. I don't know if you can see it. Matt Bonner, NBA star for the San Antonio Spurs, drawn on the back of his head. I mean, look at this. Does that look like a good haircut to you? It probably does. But what happened next would set the school off making him shave his head to keep him out of suspension. Take a look.
Patrick Gonzalez has been a Spurs fan
ever since I can remember.
and he wanted to do something to show off his pride.
It shows him, I guess, aiming for a 3-pointer.
Gonzalez already has red hair like Spurs center Matt Bonner. Now he has a new haircut to support him.
Because he's my favorite player, one of my favorite players.
We're in the playoffs, you know, and he was feeling good until now. He was totally embarrassed.
The problem came when he went to Woodlake Hills Middle School.
My first period teacher, I guess, called the principal. She told her that it was a distraction.
His mom was surprised because she says she asked first.
They didn't want any kind of problems with any of the principals. I know there's, you know, rules and regulations just like anywhere else you go.
Gonzalez says she came here to the front office to ask for permission. School leaders say she mentioned the haircut, but they never gave her the okay. There was no permission that was given. If the parent thought that, then it was a miscommunication.
Judson ISD leaders say the haircut is a distraction.
Whether it's the Spurs, whether it's our Cowboys, whether it's anything that obviously people support, it doesn't matter.
Gonzalez says he's not happy, but he plans to shave off the design.
I'm mad because I think they already knew that I was going to get it.
His mom's advice:
get a written letter or something from the school, no matter what.
Gonzalez says his love for the Spurs is not changing. He'll just have to find a different way to show his pride. Grace White, Fox News at 9.
Now, after this report aired, which was 10 years ago, which was 11 years ago. Sorry, I miscalculated. It was 11 years ago. 11 years ago, this story happened. After that aired on the news, Matt Bonner liked it so much, he gave the kid player tickets and autographs, swag, t-shirts, and jerseys. That's how it goes. But he was given an in-school suspension for violating the school's dress code. He had to shave his hair bald to come back to school. Like I said before, I never was in in-school suspension. I never went to in-school suspension. And I never will go to in-school suspension. Ever. Ever. Now let's look at the dumbest reasons why kids got suspended. And also part of our Throwback Thursday, we're going to look at students who were suspended from school, especially one who took a took a picture in the bathroom of water, and then got suspended. But the superintendent had something to say. We'll play it for you just a minute. But now let's look at the 7 dumbest reasons why kids get suspended. I watched this years ago from Lamar Wilson, the guy who does does the little reviews and all. But there's also 25 reasons why kids get suspended. So we'll get to that in just a minute. But first, let's look at the 7 dumbest reasons from theweek.com. We already talked about the creative haircut. Now let's move on to hugging a friend. I hear a lot of schools have PDA policies, especially one person who got suspended for just basically hugging a friend. We got kids scared to go to school because of bullying, and now y'all worried about some hugs. That's PDA. Holding hands, kissing, and hugging each other. That's PDA. That's public display of affection. Not public disorder. Public display. If you do more than holding hands, you're committing PDA. So you can go fist bump, high fives, shaking hands. Those are the 3 things you can do. Fist bump, handshake, high fives. Do those 3 things. If you're massaging the shoulders, giving somebody a hug, giving somebody a kiss, you're committing PDA. Next one, T-bowing. 44 kids got suspended in New York for doing T-bowing stands in the middle of the halls. Now, if you don't know what it is, I'm going to show it to you right here. You won't see me here, but it's like, I don't know if y'all can see me. Now, I'll just use this bed here to show you. Now, you're not going to see me. It's just when you put your fist in the forehead, you kneel down. 4 of them and 40 others, they all got suspended for causing a traffic jam. Growing hair for charity. 7-year-old got busted for growing his hair on charity. That's what they call BS. For cancer. This next one comes from someone who was saying, "I'm sexy and I know it," to this kid in this lunch line. He was suspended for SH, sexual harassment. I mean, you would sing Billie Jean's Not Your Lover and you would turn out okay. Or you would sing a country hit and nobody will notice. And what about this next one? Years ago, this kid gets suspended for sexual harassment for calling his teacher cute. All he said was, "Miss Taylor is cute." He did not. I mean, sexual harassment's a really big. Sexual harassment is really big. It's a big issue here in the workplace and at school. When sexual harassment comes when you touch an inappropriate part of the body, that's sexual harassment. I mean, they have sexual harassment training. I mean, in life, if you talk about a woman's body or touch a woman inappropriately, that's sexual harassment. But this wasn't sexual harassment. It's a compliment. There's a difference between sexual harassment and compliments. If you're complimenting someone saying you're beautiful, you're cute, you're pretty, you're sweet, so and so, this and this, that's not sexual harassment. That's called making somebody's day. So I say to number 6, we throw out a common sense alert. For one reason. That's not sexual harassment. That's compliments. Chivalry. You're holding a door for someone. What if it was one door? Years ago, when I was in school, I held the door for a bunch of students. Like that. That's chivalry. That's helping out. That's common sense. Now there's more to this. List 25. List25.com has an article about the 25 dumb reasons school children have been arrested or suspended for texting in class. School can't. This is 25. School can be boring sometimes, and that's the case for a 14-year-old Wisconsin girl who decided to pass some time by texting. However, when asked to stop, the 14-year-old ignored the request until security officers came and arrested her under the age for disorderly conduct. To be fair, you shouldn't text in class, but to be arrested for texting is a bit much. It's a bit much. You don't have to ask. It is a bit much. You should have taken her to the principal's office. You should have taken away the phone. Not call up security and have the police arrest her. It's like this. The teacher can't teach and students can't learn. Sorry, I had to fix my collar. Food fight. Now, this ain't Max Keeble's big move. Let's start a food fight. A group of kids between 11 and 15 years old were reportedly arrested in Chicago because of a cafeteria food fight. Reports said that one student tossed a piece of food, someone else threw an orange, another yelled food fight, and that was apparently enough to be arrested. Hacking a school computer to change the grades. Almost 10 years ago, 3 Prescott High School students who were on the verge of flunking their classes were arrested after officials found out they hacked into their teachers' computers and improved their grades. 3 students were booked at the Juvenile Detention Center on felony charges of tampering with public records and computer tampering. That's not something to be arrested for. That's probably being arrested. That's a good reason to be arrested for, tampering with records. But being arrested for it, should have given them suspension or detention. Missing too many classes. I focused on one student who was arrested for skipping a lot of class. If it was for parents in the state of Iowa, your child misses so many school days, then you can get up in jail. Diane Tran, an honor student at Texas High School back in 2012, which was 11 years ago, was jailed for missing school. Believe it or not, the 17-year-old girl was found to spend a night in jail because she was working 2 jobs to support her younger 2 siblings. That was the same case that we talked about the other day. Passing gas. You knew this was coming. Can you just imagine ripping a new one? And all of a sudden, what's that stank in here? You farted? 911, I have someone here who's passing gas. Go, go, go. Police, police, police. You're under arrest for farting in class. I didn't do anything, man. We got my arrest. You cannot arrest me. Psych. And you get arrested and blah, blah, blah. A student in Florida school was arrested after authorities said he was passing gas and turning off his classmates' computers. According to a report from the Martin County Sheriff's Office, the 13-year-old boy continually disrupted the classroom environment by intentionally breaking wind. That's a stupid thing to get arrested for. The teacher can't teach, students can't learn. Sexual harassment. 6-year-old was arrested and charged for sexual battery for some inappropriate touching during a game of tag at elementary school in San Francisco, California. Apparently, her crime was that she grabbed one of her schoolmates' thighs. That's sexual harassment. That's not something to be arrested for. The parents should be brought in and they will explain what's right and wrong. Kissing a classmate. A 7-year-old happened in Florida, where allegations were he kissed a friend. That should never happen. You should never be arrested for this. Changing a friend's name in the yearbook. It happened Happened in Missouri in 2013. Yelling. Really? For yelling? At some high school in Connecticut, a 17-year-old boy was brutalized for arguing and yelling. To be more specific, the unlucky teen was thrown to the floor and tasered 5 times because he was yelling at the cafeteria worker. He's like, "Hey, you fix my plate!" For being too lively. Come on. In 2015, a California student had his hands and his feet up zip tied, was forced to go to the hospital for psychiatric evaluation, and was charged with battery of a police officer. The student was only 5 years old, and the crime was just being too excited. Kids get excited. You don't need to freaking put the handcuffs on a freaking 5-year-old. Climbing on furniture. Come on. In California, a 7-year-old was arrested for climbing on furniture. A police officer sprayed the 7-year-old with pepper spray before he was not stop climbing on furniture. He's like, "Stop climbing on furniture." You want to listen? Okay. So you don't want to climb. He says, "You won't listen to me?" Pfft, my eyes. Kissing a classmate. 2015, a young student was charged with assault charge. Kissed one of his fellow classmates. Number 13, this really got worse. For carrying a plastic butter knife. It's a piece of plastic. This is plastic. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't hurt you. It's not a weapon. Are we going back to common sense now? At a school in Florida, an 11-year-old was arrested, thrown in jail, and charged with third-degree felony for bringing a plastic burner knife to school. Not quite sure how a plastic burner knife could harm anyone, but the guys in charge went out of their way in this case. Common sense alert. Knives is a weapon. A gun is a weapon. Knives, guns, swords, daggers, they're all weapons. Damn, zero tolerance. Anything that can't be used as a weapon is a weapon. That's according to school board zero tolerance policies. If you show a little bit of tolerance, you wouldn't call it zero tolerance. For talking on the phone? Would you be arrested for talking on the phone? No. I'd say this case was dismissed. In Pennsylvania, a 14-year-old was tasered in the groin at a school security officer. Even though she had her hands up to surrender, she was walking along Washington Street after school with 2 female accomplices. Police tried to get the students to move on with verbal commands. Most listened, but some remained in the middle of the street, talking on phones, texting, or just not moving. You can figure out the rest. Of course you can. Bringing the raw meal to school? Happened in North Carolina. The only Ashley accidentally took her father's lunch to school. It contained a small paring knife that he normally used to cut up apples. When school staff discovered the knife, they suspended the honest student for the rest of the year, and the police charged her with a misdemeanor. You can suspend her, but not arrest her. Don't make her walk the stage. That would be common sense. Or else I wouldn't be wearing this. For loving paper airplanes too much. We all make them when we were kids. Throwing them in. A student from junior high school in Texas was reportedly arrested in 2009 for throwing paper airplanes in class. Being angry. A 6-year-old was arrested for being angry. What the hell? Doodling on the desk with an erasable marker. That was Alexa. That was 2010. Alexa Camacho. She was 12 years old, searched handcuffed, and taken away by 4 of New York's finest for doing an undisciplined and erasable marker. For breaking up. Can you ever be arrested for something stupid? It's like, hey, things are not working out with this. I'm not breaking out with you. You what? Police! This guy's breaking up with me. Okay, you're under arrest for breaking up with your girlfriend. You're going to jail for a long time, son. Let me out. I don't deserve. I want to be on my girlfriend. How about dropping freaking cake on the floor? Let's go back to the girlfriend thing. A teenage couple at high school in Houston, Texas, reported milking her during a fight while they were breaking up. Instead of being sent to the principal, they were arrested and sent to court. Apparently, breaking up in some Houston schools is illegal. It's not illegal. It's your right as a human being. The cake thing. A security guard at school in California broke the arm of a 16-year-old while arrested because she left crumbs on the floor after cleaning up some cake that she had dropped. Just clean up the cake and leave. You don't need to be putting on the handcuffs for carrying a lot of money. $200 in a pocket? It's in the fucking wallet. You don't need to be arrested for freaking doing that crap. Jeez Louise. Francisco Montano. He was arrested in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We talked about this before in Classroom Confidential. Now we're talking about this here again. You guess that guy again? His name was Francisco Montano. He was 13 years old when he started belching. He sued the school and the police, but the Albuquerque police say they only make arrests that are so bad. For being intensive. It was in Texas. 14-year-old was arrested. Opening a Christmas gift early. What the hell? Where's the common sense here? Oh, and you want to hear about this one? Spraying perfume. Come on, if you're allergic to perfume, put a sign up there saying don't bring perfume to school. Everyone will learn. Sarah wanted to look and smell good. Her classmates told her that she smelled bad and made fun of being weird. So she sent us someone to spray perfume. Then when I got home, she was arrested. An officer routinely patrols halls was called in, and Sarah was charged for a criminal misdemeanor in order to appear in court. Okay. Common sense alert. Send them to the principal's office. Throw them in detention. Suspend them. Don't put them in freaking handcuffs, for crying out loud. The only time you'll put handcuffs on them is if they're being charged for assault and battery. Those are the two things. Don't be freaking arresting them for freaking sexual assault, cake dropping, food fights, unless it's a misdemeanor or disorderly conduct. Don't freaking arrest kids for doing it. Burping, farting, throwing a tantrum. This is a stupid reason to get arrested for. And even so, for taking pictures of a freaking bathroom with discolored water. When we return, you're going to hear from this kid who got suspended for freaking taking a picture of discolored water in the bathroom because she thought she was heading out to school. Where's the common sense in all this? Stay with us. Take a look at this picture. It seems like an ordinary sink. But what is that, you may ask? That's discolored water. This happened years ago. 6 years ago, a student was suspended for taking a picture in a bathroom. She posted on Twitter. Then, she got called out of the office and was suspended for freaking exposing the school with a water problem. It's the case of fix my school. But was it the case of, hey, you exposed us, you're suspended? Where was the common sense in all this? Here's Kim Russell.
Hazel Juco says when she saw discolored water coming from the sink at school, it upset her.
I just took a picture of it, and then 4th hour is my newspaper class, and I went and talked about it with them.
She posted the picture on Facebook and Twitter. Why?
I always hope that, like, something good will happen. We'll somehow have someone who wants to help us with money, because our school obviously doesn't have money.
A short time later, she got called down to the office at John Glenn High in the Wayne Westland School District.
She told me that I was being suspended for 3 days, OSS, for taking a picture. It's inappropriate use of electronics in the restroom. And everyone in my school, every girl takes like selfies in the bathroom and makes it their profile picture on like Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and no one has gotten in trouble.
Dozens of students protested by tweeting bathroom pictures they took without getting in trouble. I called Wayne Westland Superintendent Dr. Michelle Harmala. She looked into it and says she found out high school administrators made mistakes. For one, they didn't report the water issue to maintenance, so she did.
So I reached out to them. They sent a plumber out right away. We do have a piece of the pipe that leads to the faucet that was corroding and needs to be replaced, so that's underway right now.
Dr. Harmala says the rule against cell phones in bathrooms aims to prevent inappropriate pictures of people, not building issues, and the punishment is inappropriate.
She's going to make sure this out-of-school suspension is taken off your record.
Oh, yes, I'm so happy for that.
What does that mean to you?
That means a lot to me.
Dr. Harmala says what's important to her is that people learn from the mistakes that were made. She also says that students, if they see a problem in one of their buildings, there's actually an app for that. They can find it at the Wayne Westland Community Schools website, and they can actually take pictures of building problems and send it through that app, and then maintenance will fix it. Reporting live, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
Wow. So glad you can help that kid, Kim, and thank goodness she's back in school.
And bottom line, they fixed the problem.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Kim.
Now, common sense alert. No alarm today. But the common sense perspective is, what the hell? You're freaking suspending a girl for reporting this issue? For helping out the school? Give me a break here. She was trying to help you out, and then you were like, you want to expose me? You want to expose me? Well, you're out of here, sister. No, I don't want to hear. You all suspended. Pack your bags, get out of my sight, and if I see you again, I'll call the police. That's how people are. That's how people are. The bottom line here is, if you see something wrong, you are to report it to the school. And thankfully, the common sense spread from 6 years ago, they have an app, which you can report it. Has that been used? We don't know. But if you see, you say. I see, I say. That's the old saying here. There's lots of people who have been suspended from school. Like, I'm going to show you this one when we return. Coming up next, this kid was suspended after a social media post. The father says the school went too far. Also, a student gets suspended for recording a teacher when she was just trying to stand up for her friend. Now, this wasn't recorded, this was audio recording. Stay with us. Earlier, we showed you a video of a student getting suspended for posting a photo on social media. That was right to keep a record by the superintendent. But now here's another case. A 10-year-old, a junior high student was suspended for 10 days over a social media post. Imagine this. You post something on social media, it gets to the school, your child gets suspended, and you as a parent go to school and say, hey, you're taking this too far. How dare you? Unsuspend my son, or I'm going to the district. The student's father said he was pursuing legal action because the school system went a little too far. What was the post? Take a look.
What I said is not what I meant to make people think about me, and it was taken the wrong way.
It only took a few words for 8th grader Logan Johnson to realize the power of social media.
I replied to her story as do it because her story was, should I drink bleach? So I just said do it.
He says over a weekend this month, a dark humor reply to another Monroe Junior High student's Instagram post got him suspended Friday for 10 days. His parents were shocked.
I'm thinking something serious, something major. He has pulled a gun. He has done bad things.
In the thread after Johnson
So this is the post. This is what he said. He said, do it. This person said, you want me to KMS? I'm not going to say it. I'm spelling it out. Some like, this is blurred. You're welcome. You in a good mood? Are you in the hospital?
posted do it. The student who made the original post said, you want me to KMS, meaning kill myself, and thanks. He says those letters didn't click at first, so he replied, you're welcome.
I would never want somebody to kill themselves. Never.
Johnson says last week he was pulled out of class by a police officer, escorted to the principal's office, and questioned, his phone taken and searched.
Where do they get the power to reach into your life after school hours, off school property, not even talking about school issues, for a question that was asked and answered with 2 words?
The superintendent for Monroe Local Schools tells us if social media becomes a disruption, they can't ignore it, even if it's not on school property. He also tells us their code of conduct outlines cyberbullying. Johnson says he's humiliated.
It started off as something that I thought was a joke, and I didn't mean to hurt anybody. And now, it's coming around, and it's really affecting my everything.
All right, now Johnson says as part of his suspension, he'll have to be in an isolated classroom for the next 6 days. He'll also have to eat lunch alone in the lunchroom in front of everybody else. His father says at this point he plans to consult an attorney. We're live in Monroe tonight. Dan Griffin, WLWT, News 5.
Okay. Common sense alert. Common sense alert. This isn't a joke. If you've been a fan of this show for 6 years, you know damn well I talk about bullying. You know why I created a group years ago called Stop Bullying, Speak Up, to help educate people on how to stand up to bullying and teach parents what they can do to help out the kids. This is one of those things. And he wants to sit here and think, oh, I was just joking around. I don't want to get suspended. I don't think this was the case. If the school decides that they want to do that they should warn their social media, that's their choice. You don't need to be calling up your attorney saying blah 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 blah. My son's schools do it so and so blah 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 blah. It doesn't matter. You may have a case, you may not. Everyone's going all KMS blah 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 blah. It's just wasting time. It's just wasting a lot of time here. I gotta calm down here. Alright. Can you ever imagine your friend being harassed by a teacher? And you're thinking to yourself, I need to do the right thing and record the incident and show it to my parents. What if you realize that that's against the rules and you got in trouble? That's what happened in Palm Beach, Florida, when a student got suspended for recording a teacher. Take a look.
In 5th grade, you acting like the smallest one. I wonder what your mom would say.
Only on 5, a St. Lucie County student says she was suspended this week for trying to defend a classmate.
The 11-year-old says she took a recording of her teacher allegedly bullying another student.
News Channel 5's Megan McRoberts has more on why that student at Samuel Gaines Academy is now being punished. Megan?
Well, Kelly, it seems anymore most students do bring a cell phone with them to school, and they keep them with them while they're in the classroom. One student says she used her cell phone to record audio of what she says depicted her teacher bullying another student. She thought she was doing the right thing, but she says the school said her video was illegal. 11-year-old Brianna Cooper has good grades and works hard at Samuel Gaines Academy in Fort Pierce. But a video on her phone got her suspended for 5 days.
I thought I did the right thing.
Brianna says one of her science teachers was being mean to a student, so she took out her cell phone and started recording what she says were threats by her teacher to a classmate.
Don't let the size fool you. I will drop you. Yeah, right. You don't know me. That's all I'm telling you. So don't give me no look.
Brianna says the teacher had been mean to students before. This time she wanted to prove it.
You think that they would actually believe a student over a teacher?
Biggest kid in 5th grade, you acting like the smallest one. I wonder what your mom looks like.
You don't speak to children, let alone your students, like that.
Brianna says she turned the recording into a teacher wanting to defend her classmate, only to get called to the principal's office and suspended. The school telling her it was illegal to record a teacher without them knowing.
I never had anybody tell me you cannot record.
She thought she was doing a good thing. She's 11 years old. She doesn't know the law.
Law enforcement says recording someone can be legal if there is not an expectation of privacy. In this case, Brianna's mother, Cassie Faulkner, says the school told her there is an expectation of privacy, even in a large classroom. Faulkner worries her daughter's suspension sends the wrong message to other students.
Pretty much saying to students is, if you think anything is wrong, don't try and do anything about it.
Now, Faulkner says she's also worried because she says her daughter is suspended during the day. She says kids at her school are prepping for the Florida Standards Assessment. We did reach out to the school district for a comment, but they say they have no comment right now as there is an open investigation. Reporting live, Megan McRoberts, WPTV News, Channel 5.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's like this. Common sense alert. Are you crazy? If you do something wrong, don't try to be a hero. If you see something, you say something. You got to record and be suspended. Hell, do it. Even if they have a rule. You see a teacher berating a student. Hell, record the incident. Don't freaking step back and see what's going on. Record it. Post it on social media if you have to. Do whatever you want to do. It don't matter. It don't matter. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Every time I think I heard stories about kids being suspended, it's often the teacher's fault, or sometimes the kids. It's about 30% to 40%. 30% of students get blamed. 40% of teachers get. 30% of the students get blamed, while 40% blame the teachers. That's the case in this last story. This teacher denied his student second chance breakfast at one school and a school. When that happened, the father was outraged. He took video of it, and man, she broke the law. Take a look.
So you're calling my son a liar regarding Monday.
A father's recording of his confrontation with his son's 5th grade teacher.
On Monday, I did not like him.
You know you broke the law? Are you aware of that?
Louis Valdivia says he went to Hilltop Elementary furious after hearing this from his son.
I asked her if I can get second chance breakfast. And when I asked, she said, no. Well, I just went back to my seat all frustrated.
The 10-year-old, whose name and face we agreed to conceal, says he was denied breakfast at the school because his teacher said he was missing an assignment.
You know that what you did with denying my son food was wrong.
I'd appreciate if you asked my permission before you tell me.
Well,
while not admitting the boy missed a meal, the Chula Vista School District spokesperson tells 10 News they are looking into the complaint, saying second chance breakfast, an opportunity for kids who miss breakfast to eat, is not a mandated meal break. Combined with recess, teachers sometimes hold students out of recess as discipline.
If you would like to schedule a meeting.
I don't need to schedule a meeting. This is going straight to the board, and I'll see you in court.
Valdivia says refusing his son food under any circumstance is abusive.
Terminator. Get rid of her. Just because you have a bachelor's or a master's degree does not give you the right, the authority to treat a child.
Now, again, the school district says that meal, what's called second chance breakfast, a chance for kids who miss breakfast at home perhaps to get breakfast at school, is not a required breakfast or a required meal to be served by law. So the teacher did not, in fact, violate the law, but whether they decide to discipline her or not, they say will be a private matter handled within the district. We're live in Chula Vista tonight. Riel Creighton, 10 News.
Well, there's your common sense perspective. There's the common sense. Don't even throw out the alarm. It's not a mandated meal. I mean, denying child food. I mean, if you were a parent and your child came to you and say, "I'm hungry. Can I get something to eat?" You say no. That's denying child a meal. You keep on doing this, you'll be arrested for child abuse. That's the common sense perspective here for teachers. It's because you have a bachelor's degree. Don't mean you gotta start doing whatever you want to do. That's common sense perspective. All right, here's what we're going to talk about on our Friday's show. Coming up on Friday, a story about heart attacks and cardiologists. What would you do if your wife had a heart attack and there was a new procedure and doctors say you can't do it? What would you do? Would you obey the rules or break them and risk losing your job doing this? An interactive story you won't miss. That's it for Throwback Thursday. We'll see you again next time for Throwback Thursday, and I'll see you again for Throwback Friday. For everyone here at YouTube, good night.